Why do people like horror movies? I mean, it's pretty simple. People like horror movies because they can experience horrible things safely in a comfy seat holding snacks. I remember first seeing Halloween, it blew me away. And there's never been a movie since then that sums up that holiday.
This wasn't about getting paid. This wasn't about agents and limos. This was everybody at the beginning. It was really the magical confluence of you've got Donald Pleasence, Jamie Lee Curtis, John Carpenter, Deborah Hill. In the background we have Nick Castle and we have Tommy Lee Wallace, who are at that point, first-time filmmaker types that are all there. And I think there was really a group effort.
Erwin Yablans was a film distributor, and he brought John Carpenter to my father, Mr. Akkad, and he ended up greenlighting the film Halloween through his Falcon International Productions.
The two of them got together, and I think it was Erwin on the airplane home got this idea of having some kind of script with babysitters.
Originally it was going to be the babysitter murders, and it had nothing to do with Halloween. So Erwin Yablans was the idea that said, if we give it a setting, if we give it this holiday, we can take your story and plop it into this holiday event, and it just happened.
The original film was shot for $300,000 over 21 days, and my father ended up giving John a little $25,000 bonus afterwards. So the total budget was $325,000.
One of the things I think that impressed Erwin was the filmmaking, the directing.
That opening shot of the movie is really amazing.
Right. His shot making was just so beautiful. It was a great thing to watch because I was there the night that they shot it, and to see the crew actually, it was like a dance. Whatever else the movie was going to be, it was going to have the Steadicam, and it was going to be used in this one way.
You can tell that this is a filmmaker that's just having fun with the medium and is not having a lot of studio pressure or external forces telling him what to do. And you can always smell a film like that.
I was actually called to an audition, and it was the first time that I ever had an audition where after I read, the director said, "You got the part." And I just sat there like, what? You're telling me? I don't have to wait 2 weeks?
This is not supposed to happen, right?
Yeah.
And it was very exciting, and then he asked me to stay and read for potential boyfriends. So that was kind of cool.
But that's the way he really was about everything, or is, But certainly at that time, he just had this confidence about what he wanted, and when he saw it, that was it.
Right.
It just it used to drive me crazy that it was one take, that's it, that's what you want. Sweet,
Are you sure?
Donald Pleasence, who as a man was such a wonderful guy, and to work with was, the epitome of a professional. So you had all these teenagers running around the house with a knife, and then, Donald was the sophisticated English actor.
Oh, it was a joy to work with him. He gave us so much. He'd look you in the eyes and, yes, yes.
The story was, 3 babysitters in the suburbs on Halloween night.
John and Deborah working together was really a special combo because John really brought these traditional horror elements like Dr. Loomis and the all persistent evil.
Deborah was able to bring the female perspective to a script and put a lot of dialogue in from a teenage girl point of view, which a lot of men wouldn't be able to have written. So I thought their partnership was extremely exciting.
Whenever I think of the first film musically, I think of that piano in the very high end, aside from the theme, that ding, ding.
He created that all himself. Right. So he's the author of dun 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 dun.
Like having Jaws without the dun 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 dun.
He really hit the mark with the minimalist issue. Rather than going over the top, making it big, he made it little.
I think it opened, in October?
Obviously October.
Yeah, sure.
In Kansas City. I was anticipating it not taking off. Even though I had a lot of respect for the movie. I thought it was a really good movie. It was slow to get started.
Absolutely.
I do remember that. Do you remember there was a review in Time magazine, and I thought, Time Magazine is reviewing this movie. This is amazing. And you know, something is really going on. And they really weren't reviewing the movie so much as they were reviewing the phenomenon of the movie. Right. The fact that it was making so much money and there was such a word of mouth about it.
Alan, what do you think makes Michael Myers so scary, aside from the external factors like the music and so forth? What about him?
Well, I think it's brilliant to have an evil character that we don't know really who it is. All we know is the mask.
Because he's so simple, he's so basic. He's a white face in a jumpsuit. There's so little to him. He never speaks. We never really see his face, and that in itself is terrifying. But I think by him being so blank, people can project their own fears and their thoughts of what he's about onto him. He's basically a blank canvas.
He seems like a man without emotion, so any time you have a human being that can take a life, whether it's an animal or a person, and there doesn't seem to be any empathy or sympathy or feeling of what did I do, or oh my gosh, I did something wrong, that's truly evil.
His character has some sort of identifiable humanness to him.
It's the unseen terror, it's the presence. You know, you don't see him that often. You know, Carpenter was great at having him in the shadows.
I also think there's something really cool about him that made him scary. I mean, he moves very slowly, very deliberately, like he's got it all figured out. They know they're going to get you no matter what, and so when the audience sees them moving so methodically, you know, and then the other thing is you know, they could be anywhere at any time. That's what John Carpenter's thing is you never know where he was going to appear.
Michael in that mask is one of the coolest images in cinematic history.
I mean, he's just the epitome of darkness. He's indestructible. He's so successful because he never dies.
Michael spawned some of these next movies that happened, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street, etc.
Yeah, suddenly they were everywhere.
Everywhere.
Throughout the series, we've always fought for less gore is better, although we've lost some of those battles, but we've always tried to be the non-gory slasher film as much as we can be.
It was like when you were a young kid and you had to imagine things, you know. They let the audience imagine things, which is much more frightening, I think.
Kids couldn't wait to bring their friends. They had seen it, and they could sit there and watch the person squirm, knowing what was coming up. Oh, wait till you see this part.
Or don't look now.
Yeah, don't look now.
Being scared is fun. It's like going on a roller coaster ride. So you get to go to the movies, get a roller coaster ride, be thrilled, scared, and eat popcorn.
The fan base for this film has always been incredible, and the fan support has always been incredible.
Yeah, the fans are amazing.
Aren't they great? They know all the lines. They keep coming up and telling
They know
you.
all the lines. That's the
that's
astonishing thing to me.
It's a real tribute. I mean, I enjoy meeting them so much. The enthusiasm that they put out there. It's a lot of fun, you know.
And they love taking pictures
of
their own little video, and they like you to say one of the lines, like
Absolutely.
totally.
Halloween Returns to Haddonfield was one of the most successful of those conventions. It was really exciting to see all the fans get together with the cast and crew and all the Michaels from all the films, and we had people coming from as far away as Japan and Germany, and I think it's a way for them to again feel a part of this franchise, which they are such a big part of.
I guess it's been a while, 25 years.
My gosh.
Look what's sitting here on the table. Every picture is Michael Myers.
From the mask, the merchandising we got all over here. I mean, you got the blood snow and stuff like that.
But I do remember when Halloween first came out, there was some edge to it, and it was the marketing campaign I remember as a kid, and there did seem like there was something extra terrifying about it, that it wasn't safe to go see it in a theater, that something horrible might actually happen.
I've been managing Rob for 16 years, and when we first started talking about his music career, we always said that we would have a film component. We wanted to make movies at one moment in time.
Well, since I'm involved with the remake of Halloween, a remake, reimagining, a prequel, sequel, whatever you want to call it, a lot of people always ask me, well, what was your response the first time you saw Halloween? And my response was mind-blowing. I remember first seeing Halloween when it first came out in 1978 at a drive-in. I can't remember what else was playing. You know, Don't Look in the Basement or some other movie, and it blew me away.
Rob was one of the first people, literally one of the first people, to ever make his own videos. in 91, 92, it was unheard of that an artist directed his own videos, where it's somewhat commonplace now.
At first, I didn't think that it was a movie that could be made, should be made, that I wanted to be involved with at all. But after living with it for a long time, I started seeing a way to do it, because the first movie is so simple that there are a lot of holes you can fill in, a lot of things that you could see that you wish you had seen. And also the original movie, Carpenter's style is so specific that if you vary from it, you have a completely different film.
How we got to Halloween was we made House of a Thousand Corpses. It was a really successful movie, and then we made The Devil's Rejects, and that got real good critical acclaim and did great at the box office, and it kind of got to the attention of both Malek Akkad and Bob Weinstein, who had called us and said, you know, would you like to do a movie? And we were like, hey, let's go take a meeting. And sort of in the meeting, they dropped it on us and said, hey, would you like to, you know, an attempt at doing a reimagining, a remake of Halloween? And, you know, we thought about it for a minute, because it's a, you know, it's a task, because it's a classic.
Why remake a classic? It seems crazy, but it's not crazy, because if you have a classic story, a simple story, and you tell it in a completely different way, it's compelling once again, you know? I mean, all of our great horror movies that we love so much would have ended in the silent era.
It's a pretty scary proposition to try to remake a movie that's so well known. So we really had to kind of put our thinking caps on, but Rob came up with a great idea for this reimagining of the movie, and I think it's going to scare the hell out of everyone.